we are starting a new series of HTML for beginners. So we are going to be doing HTML for beginners, as in the name. And to get started, you're going to open a text editor of choice. I recommend for Windows, Notepad++, and for Mac, Sublime Text 2 or 3, because that's in beta. Whoops. So open your text editor, and then so in HTML you're going to have to start off with something called a doc type, and everything is in a tag, which is these like triangle things in HTML is called a tag. And if you have doc type, you're going to do this, and this is for HTML5. And to do like any other tag, unless it's got a slash at the end, you have to do to start off HTML. You have to do HTML end tag, and then to end the proper tag, you have to do slash HTML. And all of this is your HTML. So then your head is I'll just do an example. So your head, if I open Google, 221503. Your head is this here, this top part, and your body is the actual browser part. Your head is this, and your browser is this. Get that stuck into your minds, because you're going to have to start using it. So your head, you have to start off with something like this. A title is that, like the new tab thing on Google. And I'm just going to call this YouTube. Tutorial #1. And to do hash in the Mac keyboard, you have to hold Alt. You have to click Alt then 3, and like they don't have like a hash thing, which is on like other keyboards, like the one I have in front of me, because I have a Mac keyboard in front of me and a other keyboard in front of that. Yeah. And then you have to have a body tag, which I said is the body of your. So imagine this is your head. So this is a browser's head. Imagine your head, but on a browser, and this is their body. Yeah. And then their legs is probably like down here where your bar is, but still. So this is the starting of a HTML document. And we're just going to save this. Oh, what's this? Oh, so we're going to make a folder, and I'm going to call it YouTube. And here we are going to have to call it index. Because when a browser is indexing a web page, it checks for an index.html or HTML or PHP or whatever. It checks for that, and only that. If it doesn't find that, it'll come up with a weird page saying something random, unless you do a htaccess, and then a htaccess will get in later on. That's when we get into PHP. And then you can change something else. So we're going to set this as index.html. You could set it as HTML. And then we see it automatically highlights the syntax. And the syntax is what you have to use for it to actually work. And now we're seeing this. And I'm not going to use this as demonstration purposes. So you have to do P. So paragraph, you wouldn't write paragraph. you won't write paragraph. Oh, I spelled that wrong, but it's either way. You write P. Very good thinking. It's so short. And if you have something like Sublime Text 2, you could have a ton of C's, and then if you want to change them all, say we change our minds, you can do something like this. Cell. Oh. Cell phones. And now when we go into our browser, so command save, you have to save it every time. So I'm just gonna launch my MAMP. This is what I'm using. You don't have to use it, but when we get into PHP, you'll have to either buy a website or use a web host like XAMPP for Windows or MAMP or whatever. So it's just MAMP, and then what you need to do up here, change this to YouTube. What did I call it? I'm not sure. I don't know. That's when I downloaded Sublime. That's my thing. And that's also that. What am I doing? Where's MAMP? MAMP, here we go. And HD docs. So I called it YouTube. I didn't call it YouTube. I'll try it. Saying cell phones. Because we use this. And if you want to break it, if you want to do a line break, but if you don't mean like a line, let's say if we have blah blah blah, and if we do break, this is breaking the line, so that'll be the end of that line. And then we could put like you could space this like all the way down here and then put bleh, random stuff, save it, and I'd only do that. Because that's the good thing about this. You can space it so much, but it doesn't do anything. Like you could space it as much as you want, but it still wouldn't do anything. That's the good thing about these programming languages. Well, not programming languages, development languages, I call them. So, if you want to put something in the center of a screen, like here, you're going to have to do one piece of syntax called center. Now this is where they start getting into stuff like regular words, and you could just say well, actually, this is a good time to tell you with like different size of. So you see how. Well, this is probably just an image, but you see how this text is somewhat smaller than that. To do this, we have to have a header tag. That's header. And we have header 1 through 6, and header 1 is massive, header 2 is smaller, header 3 is smaller, header 4 is smaller, header 5 is really small, and header 6 is the smallest you can get. That's really small. Small of a small thing. So header 3 or 4 is probably. Header 2 I normally use, so I'm going to put header 2. If you want to experiment, you can experiment. Pause the video here and you can experiment. I don't know why I said experiment so much. That's experimental. Why did I just say experiment again? Probably just for the mood. Okay. So, YouTube tutorial. Obviously, if you have faster typing speeds, you could probably be Ponying. Yeah. But then it will say YouTube tutorial. In the next episode, we are going to be getting to not PHP, like links, like if you know PowerPoint and stuff, they have links, and Word, and also links and CSS. And what with CSS, you can change things. So like you can make it so if you hover over this, you can, it like makes it bigger, or it's to your mind's consent, basically. So yeah, that will be all. I'm just gonna quit out of AMP because everybody does that. And see you next time. Bye.